That space served as the hub for many months of protest during the summer of 2020. Now it's a space for celebration. Zach McKee says he's been working on the case for nearly a year. The body camera video and other pertinent documents just released Friday. And Judge Mitch Perry's decision rests on these factors: violation of the right of privacy and self-determination. Police say instead of meeting at a random place like this, it's best to meet at places like this, the Exchange Safe Zone outside of the St. Matthews Police Department. 32. That's how many bullets one Louisville family says rang through their home early Sunday morning. The evidence still on the counter. You simply open the box, place the baby inside, and close it. And look, you can see on the other side of this wall that it can only be opened from inside the fire station. And you don't have to be at a kiosk to be connected. Just go to myky.info. The pain at the pump is only expected to get worse, according to economists. And Kentuckians I talked to are preparing in various ways. Pink balloons line Nyla's last walk, bringing the community together. USPS says one of his postal workers was robbed at knife point here across the street from Slugger Field. While Poston says the king can never be replicated, he says it's not hard to feel like him in one of these suits. Unions aren't uncommon here in Louisville, but decades ago, the labor movement was even more powerful than it is today. One vendor says he's not too concerned, and he'll be here, ready to serve people as they walk, run, or bike down from the Big Four Bridge. She printed out a copy for me to see and says it gives law enforcement throughout the state authority to arrest a suspect. They say this morning's car theft and attempted break-ins are just the latest of the same crimes they've seen for a while. They do say it's a big cause for concern as the school year kicks off in just 1 week. Parents and other people in the community say violence on JCPS school buses needs to end.
Hard hat, gloves, harness, all safety precautions in preparation of working about 100 feet in the air.
I'll see you back on ground level.
Cameron Lastly and his tight-knit crew of workers do this to provide internet in rural areas of LaRue County.
Back when the pandemic started in early 2020, we realized that people were going to start working from home more, and we realized that, hey, there's a lot of these rural areas that do not have really any good sources of internet.
That's why he founded Telecast Communications, using grain and water towers, giving about 300 people high-speed internet. Judge Executive Blake Durrett says the service covers the last mile. Homes in rural areas like his that don't get access to reliable internet.
We feel like we're part of the 21st century now.
Streaming and working from home, things Durrett says his family wasn't able to do before. He says he remembers when Lastly came to him with the idea to build his own network.
I gave him a challenge. I'm like, if you can give me internet, we can make some good things happen.
Lastly not only accepted the challenge, but in just 2 years, Durrett says the northern part of the county, which was about 70% underserved, is now at about 30%. The way it works, if you can see the structure, one of the grain or water towers, then you can gain access to the internet by placing a router on your home, which connects to the tower. It's a mission that hits home for the Hodgenville native.
I've always been involved in my community, so I saw this as another opportunity to be able to help some of our further out community members in the rural parts.
A mission with no end in sight. Another tower planned to be up and running in the next 2 weeks. In LaRue County, Bobbi McSwine, WHAS 11 on your side.
I had a rail here, I had a wooden rail here, I had that black rail here, I had flowers, I'm a flower pot, so it gets destroyed. I'm just surprised the steps are still standing.
The same porch where Whitney Reed, her husband, and 1-year-old son sat watching fireworks just days ago, now covered in dirt, debris, and yellow tape.
I was just gonna apply for a loan. I was about to get a fence. I was gonna repaint. I was gonna, renovate my house.
Renovations planned after paying off their West Louisville home for 6 years. Reed and her husband paid it off in February.
This is a major setback. I don't know what to do now.
Evidence of what caused the damage still in front of her home.
LMPD says it all started right here on South 18th Street, right off Muhammad Ali Boulevard, responding to a carjacking around 2:30 p.m.
LMPD says officers spotted juveniles in the stolen car near 38th Street, and when they tried to stop them, the juveniles fled and crashed right here on 32nd and Broadway.
And the car kind of went up and just kind of flipped, rotated, and then landed over here.
Destroying Reed's and her neighbor's porch in the process. a gaping hole exposing their basement. As for Reed's home, she says the impact cracked the foundation, making their flood-prone basement more susceptible to damage.
It's gonna rain the next few days, so it's probably just gonna get worse.
Despite her shock and frustration, Reed says she's concerned about how and why young people were involved in this. She says LMPD told her the suspects are in middle school.
That's crazy. Like, how did these kids get a hold of this car and how did they end up here? Like, I feel sad, like I'm upset, but I'm just glad I didn't find a body or something in the yard.
LMPD says the juveniles have been detained. In Louisville, Bobbi McSwine for the WHAS 11 team, on your side.
Loved ones say they were in disbelief hearing Barry Williams Sr. died here at LMDC, especially after having powerful conversations about the new path he planned to take if he got out.
He just was catching a lot of hope, to do better and, overturn the things that he was going through.
At the time of his death, Metro Corrections stated in an email that Williams was being held in the jail after being convicted in February of domestic violence assault, burglary, and being a persistent felon. The family told us that Williams had a vision and hope of appealing the charges and getting exonerated. That's why his son and Lynette Cooper, pastor of Temple of Revelation in Louisville's West End, say it's hard to believe he died of an overdose on March 28th.
Sunday, he calls everybody, "I love you. I'm gonna go back to work, get my meds, go back to work, and then I'll see y'all at court at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning."
But that never happened. Now she says the family is left with a hole that can't be filled.
He loved his wife loved him, his kids loved him.
The day of Williams' death, LMDC put out a number of changes aimed to keep inmates safe, including checking third-party mail, using canines, and body scanners. The jail has faced mounting criticism after 8 inmates have died since November. Williams, the latest.
We want justice. We need answers. And not only for him. What about the other 7 who never got answers?
Cooper says former jail director Dwayne Clark's resignation might be a signal of change, but she says changing leadership won't make a huge difference. It'll take systemic change.
It will never stop until you get to the root of the problem.
In a partial statement, LMDC spokesperson Tracy Dotson says leadership isn't the only thing we expect to be changing at LMDC. Positive and progressive changes toward a more comprehensive care and supervision of our detainees, as well as more care and attention to our employees' well-being, are issues the FOP feel are very important to the newly appointed chief of LMDC.
I want to show him that I'm walking with you the last mile and that we're doing this together.
Cooper says she'll remember Williams as the man he was and who he was fighting to become. In Louisville, Bobbi McSwine for the WHAS 11 team, on your side.
Now, Stacey Connard and her children don't physically come to the track. Instead, they watch the excitement at home and place their bets online. It's a tradition they've had for years, choosing the horse whose name they like the best and which one resonates most with them. Now, this year, the decision was unanimous, Rich Strike. They say the decision was pushed by someone special looking over them.
We were just crazy screaming and I was hyperventilating. Kids were trying to tell me to calm down, but they were all pretty excited.
$25,000. That's how much Stacey Connard and her family won when Rich Strike pulled off the upset with 80-1 odds, winning Kentucky Derby 148.
I'm sure all the neighbors heard us. It was just chaotic in the house.
The family watches the race from home every year, choosing horses with names that resonate with them. But this year was different. They unanimously chose the same horse,
which never happens.
The name helped guide them, but so did another feeling they all shared.
Their dad had passed away several years ago, and we were joking around that Dad was going to help us win the Derby this year.
Connard says her youngest daughter, Harper, had the most intuition.
I don't know, it just kind of felt like it.
And it wasn't because her father, Dennis, was a gambler. In fact, Connard says it was quite the opposite. He disliked it, but they had a feeling he would play a role.
I know that sounds crazy, but it's just, I don't know, it was a feeling.
That hope soon turned to reality. Connard says even the way Rich Strike won gave her chills.
It was unbelievable that he came from behind and then on the last turn won that race.
But it doesn't stop there. Connard soon had another revelation.
And then when I realized it was our wedding anniversary, I thought, I think your dad really did help us. And they agree. They think so too.
Dennis died in 2017 after 18 years of marriage, a moment that cut deep, but the bond they all shared clearly unbroken.
I think he is our guardian angel.
Watching over them now and forever.
Now, Connor says her kids say they have to go to Hawaii since the winnings are shared between all of them. She says they do plan to go sometime in the future to celebrate. Now, as a reminder, the IRS says that gambling winnings like these are fully taxable at a rate of 37% of what you win. I'm live at Churchill Downs. Bobbi McSwine for the WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
All right.